Okay, chapter 19. He was awakened one night by a strange noise. At first, he thought it might have been some kind of animal, and it frightened him. But as his sleep cleared from his head, he realized the noise was coming from the cot next to him. Squid was crying. Are you okay? Stanley whispered. Squid's head jerked around. He sniffled and then caught his breath. Yeah, I'm fine, he whispered and sniffled again. In the morning, Stanley asked Squid if he felt better. What are you, my mother? Asked Squid. Stanley raised and lowered his shoulders. I got allergies, okay? Squid said. Okay, said Stanley. You open your mouth again, I'll break your jaw. Stanley kept his mouth shut most of the day. He didn't talk too much to any of the boys, afraid that he might say the wrong thing. They called him caveman and all that, but they didn't forget that they were dangerous too. They were all here for some reason. As Mr. Stir would say, this isn't Girl Scout camp. Stanley was thankful that there was no racial problems. X-Ray, Armpit, and Zero were black. He, Squid, and Zigzags were white. Magnet was Hispanic. On the lake, they were all the same reddish-brown color, the color of dirt. He looked up from his hole to see the water truck and his trailing dust of cloud. His canteen was still almost a quarter full. He quickly drank it down, but then took place in line after Magnet and in front of Zero. The air was thick with heat, dust, and exhaust fumes. Mr. Sir filled their canteens. The truck pulled away. Stanley was back at his hole, shovel in hand, and when he heard Magnet call out, "Anybody want some sunflower seeds?" Magnet was staring at the ground level, holding a sack of seeds. He popped a handful in his mouth, chewed, swallowed, shells and all. Over here, said X-Ray. The sack looked about half full. Stanley rolled up the top and tossed it to X-Ray. How'd you get them out without Mr. Sir seeing you, said Armpit. Can't help it, Magnet said. He held up both hands, wiggling his fingers and laughed. Fingers are like little magnets. The sack went from X-Ray to Armpit to Squid. Sure good eating something that doesn't come from a can, said Armpit. Squid tossed the sack to Zigzag. Stanley knew it would come to him next. He didn't want it. From the moment Magnet shouted, "Anybody want sunflower seeds?" he knew they were in trouble. Mr. Sir would come back, and anyways, the salted shells would make him more thirsty. "Coming your way, caveman," said X-Ray. "Air with special delivery." It's unclear whether the seeds spilled before they got to Stanley or after he dropped the bag. It seemed to him that Zigzag didn't roll up the top before throwing it, and that was the reason he didn't catch it. But it all happened so fast. One moment the sack was flying through the air. The next thing Stanley knew, the sack was in his hole and the seeds were spilling across the dirt. "Aw, man," said Magnet. "Sorry," said Stanley as he tried to sweep the seeds back into the sack. "I don't want to eat dirt," said X-Ray. Stanley didn't know what to do. "The truck's coming!" shouted Zigzag. Stanley looked up at the approaching cloud dust and then back at the spilled seeds. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. What else is new? He dug his shovel into the hole and tried to turn dirt over to bury the seeds. What he should have done, he realized later, was lock one of the dirt piles into his hole. But the idea of putting dirt into his hole was unthinkable. "Hello, Mr. Sir," said X-Ray. "Back so soon?" "It seems like you were just here," said Armpit. "Time flies when you're having fun," said Magnet. Stanley continued to turn the dirt over in his holes. "Girl Scouts having a good time?" said Mr. Sir. He moved from one hole to another, kicked a dirt pile into Magnet's hole, and then moved towards Stanley. Stanley could see 2 seeds at the bottom of his hole. As he tried to cover them up, he unearthed the corner of his sack. "Well, what do you know, caveman," said Mr. Sir, standing over him. "Look at what I found." Stanley didn't know what to do. "Dig it out," said Mr. Sir. "We'll take it to the warden. Maybe she'll give you the rest of the day off." "It's not anything," Stanley muttered. "Let me be the judge of that," said Mr. Sir. Stanley reached down and pulled the empty burlap sack. He tried to hand it to Mr. Sir, but he wouldn't take it. "So tell me, caveman," said Mr. Sir, "how did my sack of sunflower seeds get in your hole?" "Stole it from your truck." "You did?" "Yes, Mr. Sir." "What happened to all the sunflower seeds?" "I ate them." "By yourself?" Yes, Mr. Sir. Hey, caveman, shouted Armpit. How come you didn't share any with us? That's cold, man, said X-Ray. Thought you were our friend, said Magnet. Mr. Sir looked around, one boy to another, and then back at Stanley. We'll see what the warden says about this. Let's go. Stanley climbed out of his hole and followed Mr. Sir to the truck. He held up the empty sack. Felt good to sit inside the truck, out of the direct rays of the sun. Stanley was surprised he could feel good about anything at this moment, but he did. It felt good to sit down on a comfortable seat for a change. The truck bounced along in the dirt, and he appreciated the air blowing through the window into his sweaty, hot face.